All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all to the first game of, well, the night for the Women's League we've got here, Wiggs. It's going to be Philadelphia Warhawks versus Draugr Ladies, and I'm joined by the man himself, Wiggs.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, a pretty fun one. It's our first time casting for our female league. We have Philadelphia and Draugr, like you said, and honestly, I don't know if you've had a chance to cast too many female players. I really haven't outside of Azura Anarchy. Are you what are you kind of expecting throughout this series?
Well, I've gotten to cast maybe a few of the female COD players in my time. One of them obviously is Azura's Anarchy, and I know that Amelia is also very good. I've gotten to cast her before, as well as a few other players. But honestly, all the people that I'm seeing right now, I don't quite know what too much to expect. I do know from the reputations of the orgs, though, at Philadelphia Warhawks, they usually pick up some pretty dang solid teams, and that's what's being shown so far right now. 52 points off of that first hard point already into their hands.
Yeah, and we already have one of these ladies picking up some kills to go towards streaks, and it's looking like Insane Goddess is going to find one. Will actually end up dropping theirs, I believe. Busy, I want to say is how you say it, is actually the one to find that kill. And I mean, so far, like you said, Philadelphia usually pretty good at picking up rosters, and their roster's looking pretty solid here early on. Like I said, I only have had the chance to cast Azura Anarchy, and I think a few other ladies in a co-ed tournament a few weeks ago, but I really don't know what to expect from any of these matches, and I think a lot of them really could be good overall.
I think so too. So far, Insane Goddess is definitely living up to the name, taking down Busy and looking for another one on Just Jess. Unfortunately, not going to be quite going her way, but Sarah will be finishing her off with a grenade. And now, Draugr starting to get some good time of their own. They're not too far down, but it appears that Philadelphia going to just not let them get really any time of their own. Just completely wanting all of it for themselves, which is not too surprising. But I mean, yeah, Philadelphia so far, they've got some good rotations. What they could do, what Draugr could do in order to stem the flow a little bit is, one thing you notice is that the Philadelphia Warhawks players, they're all spawning where number 8 just spawned right there. And if you get a player that goes right over by those buses, you can completely cut off these spawns. I'm a little bit shocked to see that Draugr isn't really trying to do that very much. It's a very strong cutoff point that you could get a lot of value for.
Yeah, I to a certain extent agree. I've actually seen, just from the few matches I played, a lot of teams actually like to play from the front though on that hill too, because they can kind of hit out towards fire in the front, and then they kind of, in a sense, they can get like a spawn trap going those back windows, but I think it kind of varies by the team. I've seen it both ways where, like you said, they'll get those spawns out towards the back, or they'll either opt to play for the front. I think it's just kind of situational with the team and who's really on it. Like, if you have two really good subs, you can get into fire and Chal out front. Like, it's actually kind of nice, but kind of depends on team's playstyle, I guess. So moving forward with this hill, we are going to be seeing the likes of Philadelphia rotated on out and getting a big chunk of time here early. I think they've gotten every single second here so far, and it's honestly looked really good here for them on the map. I would love to see Draugr maybe get out on rotations a little bit earlier. They've kind of been behind on at least the rotational battle. I think if they can do that, then they can definitely find themselves some more hill time here moving forward.
Yeah, they've been definitely getting a little bit out-rotated here, Draugr, unfortunately for them. And on this map especially, Wiggs, it is a painful thing to try and come back from. I saw this with TG in the last series that we casted in the Everybody League, but the regular Wiggs World League. But yeah, if you get these rotations on this map, pretty much every rotational position that you would have to, pretty much every lane that you have to run through in order to get to a lot of these objectives is very wide open. If you can get your ARs in positions like Philadelphia Warhawks have been doing, I mean, they've been doing pretty good with the subs as well. Point being, you can pretty much mow people down en masse as they try and get to the objective. And Philadelphia Warhawks, they've been pretty much doing that all game. Case in point, Insane Goddess looking to do that to them, just as I'm saying it.
Yeah, and it's just, like you said, it's just rotations, and then once you get rotated, especially on this game and this map alone, it is super easy to lock down some of these hills. Like, yeah, it can get scrappy at times within it, but those initial rotations really do help you lock down those first 15 to 20-ish seconds as long as you win that opening gunfight on the rotation. And right now, Philadelphia is just doing a better job of that. We are starting to see Draugr fight on back a little bit, and again, right now it's just really down to that rotation. Like, we'll see, as I believe Insane Goddess is back to where she was on the first rotation. She's just laying down here within the hard point, finding some kills. So we'll find a second right there from underneath that desk. And again, it just really is coming down to rotations. We see another clear rotation here from Philadelphia. I think that's like 4 in a row, if not 5, of them getting out to the next hard point early, and it's led to good early time. They've already got the first 20 seconds here of the kill and are looking to completely add on to it as they're finding all these kills. Breezes got onto a 5 streak there, so I believe she has a glide, which she does. So again, rotations come down to BNP, and she's got a glide bomb behind it.
Yeah, Philadelphia Warhawks have had good spawns more than not. And you see Breezes trying to go around and do it again. What I have seen some teams do now, Wiggs, is send 2 people around the back for the spawns, both ARs. Instead of, say, just Breezes, you send both Insane Goddess and Breezes to go and get these spawns. Breezes doing a pretty good job of killing by herself. But the point of sending the 2 people there is to make sure that you flip spawns, because as we know, these are squad spawns, and with more of your players being in one spot, it's all about manpower ratios, and so having 2 people on the rotation can sometimes lead to it being easier to flip. You see, Draugr is still retaining the spawns despite the fact that Breezes is being there, but I mean, hey, maybe they want that. Breezes is just having a great time shooting them where they're at.
And she ended up going on another 5 streak there, so I don't know if she even, I don't think she used her glide bomb, so she doesn't really double up on it, but her locking down those spawns led to them getting the first 20-25 seconds there before these players even broke on in, and she just did a great job there of locking down that box, sitting on that heady, and just picking them off as they came off spawn. And that's something we see quite a bit from, I mean, personally, every team I've casted, they like to get that one player out there, and some teams like to flip out those spawns so you can get that back, but then again, I think it's kind of like World War II to me, where sometimes where you allow them to get the back spawns and then you just kind of spawn trap them in there, because it's more of a choke point for certain teams. And I think I kind of like that personally. It kind of gives you a little bit of variety, and at least that's from what I've seen. It could change throughout the year, but it's kind of interesting to see. But right now, Draugr fighting on back a little bit. They get 5 kills in a row there, actually make that 6, as they now started to find some kills here out towards P3. This could be a chance for them to actually get back on into it and hold down a good 45-50 seconds here on this hill and continue to do that throughout the rest of the map.
Because as you said, it's not a prerequisite to get the spawns in order to get some good time on the objective, as just shown by the Philadelphia Ladyhawks. They pretty much didn't have the good spawns for that one, but they more or less stuck them in there. It's something that we've been seeing, especially in CODs like this. We saw in Modern Warfare where the close spawns aren't necessarily the best spawns because of the places you have to run up into in order to get to the objective. But yeah, it appears that Philadelphia Warhawks, they're going to be getting a solid rotation to the next objective. Clarity and Busy do seem to be getting in some good positions. They're going to have a big fight up against Sinister, but Clarity gets absolutely smoked, and Sinister wins her 1v1 up against Busy. So it's going to take Draugr Ladies a really, really long time to get to this objective, and pretty much by that time, they'll have one last gunfight in order to make sure that Philadelphia Warhawks don't win this right now.
Yeah, 100%. You got to win this next wave of gunfights. Get yourself into that hill and put up a good battle. You're only realistically 2 good hills away from winning this map, even for Draugr. Like, you just get 2 good setups going here within the next 2 hills and you can win this map. You're definitely not out of it. You just got to continue to play for these spawns and try to get these kills. You really cannot drop too many times here, because a wave or 2 basically gives Philadelphia the map, and it's looking like with Breezes coming off of this spawn, she's going to be watching this cross here for her team, and she might actually be able to spot the foot there of that player. She now spots her a little bit later than I thought she would, but in the end, they still get the no time. I do not think they can win it here.
They don't.
I think they'll be a second away, so we'll have to see a rotation go on down, and it's looking like right now, even with this rotation, it might not be enough, because Insane Goddess is having an insane map right now.
Like I said, definitely living up to the name Insane Goddess, and they completely get control over the next objective. Insane Goddess using these long sight lines to her advantage once again and frying with the STG as soon as anyone tries to even contest her teammates for some hill time. It's going to be a very convincing first map from Philadelphia Warhawks.
Yeah, very, very convincing in all honesty. I thought it would be a little more tightly contested early on. It started getting like that towards the end of the game, but I definitely thought a little bit earlier it would have been closer, I guess. But then again, I don't really know how to judge these matches because I haven't seen too many of these players play before. So it's kind of one of those moments where we kind of, I guess, play it by ear in quotations as we go through the series, because we really haven't had too much of a chance to see like too many of these female players. And I mean, throughout the course of the season, I'm hoping that we get a chance to cast a lot of them, because I would love to know like how they play and more about them as we kind of get through this season. But I mean, overall, a pretty convincing map, like you said there, for Philadelphia in map 1.
Yeah, well, they looked pretty dominant, just not strictly because of the rotations, but in a large part because of the rotations. The rotations that they made pretty much enabled a lot of the other things that they had going for them.
All four
in terms
of us
of the
are
slaying,
streaming.
from the good positioning
If you
that they
want to
got
go
from
check
the
if they're running
rotations.
damage rank, they
See,
both just
like
showed their
pretty much
classes on
anything I
stream.
would say that they did well, a lot of it can all be rooted down to a cause being the rotations. And so going into these next maps, do we have the maps, by the way, Wiggs?
I actually do not have the maps, so
sorry, set you up for failure with that question.
yeah, so
yeah.
I'm in the blue right now. So
Yeah, I was just asking because I was dying
no
like
problem.
really fast
But
because I didn't know if we were
what I'm saying
having
here
damage
is
snags
that
or
that's
SMGs
pretty
or
much the
not.
map where it's, I would say, if we're on a spectrum of rotations matter versus rotations don't matter, that's definitely more towards the rotations. Like, you need to really, really get them. Obviously, the other maps, they're pretty much more towards this side, but you can still get away with a lot more stuff. Like, say, on a map like Tuscan, you can be their second best on a rotation and break pretty easily, especially because there aren't as many AR setup head glitch positions. You can get up close and personal with a sub without, just getting beamed by Insane Goddess for example. So yeah, going into these next hardpoint maps, I would say that they probably still have a better chance without knowing what they are going to be. Going into the Search and Destroy, though, I can't quite necessarily say because we've got the factor of the snipers coming in.
Yeah, no, I forget about the snipers. I'm so used to Cold War where we didn't have the snipers, so I kind of forget that we have them in this game. And with something like Search and Destroy, it's hard to judge off of just, one hardpoint map too. But to your point, on other hardpoint maps like a Tuscan or even a Bow Cage, like, rotations may not be the biggest thing on those two maps. So you can kind of get away with playing more scrappy, but like on a map like Berlin, you really have to rotate. It's so big that if you get wiped, you're gonna get punished at the same time. Like a Bow Cage, you get wiped, like, you can still get back into the action within 5 seconds and you're perfectly fine, So like it's just, I guess, map situational too, as like I said, like a Bow Cage, definitely Bow Cage is the one I would point out the most, with being scrappy, and you don't necessarily always have to have those rotations. Obviously you have them, it's easier, but it's, again, one of those maps where you can just get away with being scrappy, and with Berlin you can't. And I mean, another map, Tuscan, you can kind of get away with it every now and then, but like Gavudu, you really can't get away with it either, because you get an AR rotated out, especially like Insane Goddess, you get her top boat, you're just screwed. Like, that's how it is. They're gonna end up getting streaked somehow, some way, and you just need to rotate. That's the biggest thing I take away, like gun skill wise and all of that, like getting the kills through it's not like they're that far behind. It was just really, it came down to rotations, and Breezes or Insane Goddess really just getting those kills right off rotation. It's really all that was.
Yeah, honestly, so far from what I've seen, Wiggs, besides the outlier of Insane Goddess, everyone else seems to be more or less equal in terms of good moments. Obviously, Philadelphia Warhawks had more of them, because it was exacerbated by the fact that they had the good spawns and the good setup positions all the time, and they were able to pretty much dictate their opponents' positioning and rotations in a way that favored them pretty much, like, I would say 60-70% of the time. But going into these next ones, it's not necessarily going to be like that. And when we did see some 50-50 gunfights, like Just Jess, one of the people on Draugr who was having one of the tougher times statistically, I saw her having some good moments as well, where she would do some nice B-hops right into her opponent and slam them right in the face with some bullets. And so what I'm saying here is that if they can just get the rotational game down and a little bit of more team play going on here, I think that they have still a good chance.
Yeah, I think they definitely have a good chance of winning this still. And again, if you can win this search map, I think that would be ideal, because then you kind of, get yourself right back there to the 1-1. If you lose this, I just think you really need to work on your rotations the next map. Unless you have this map, for example, you might be able to get away with it, like I said, but I wouldn't try to play like that scrappy. I try to play super like composed and like how you would actually play a map with those rotations. But right now we are on into this Bow Cage Search and Destroy. Bomb is actually going down here on A, and But we now got a 2v2, and Kyle, I don't know if you saw this the other night, but some players actually like to run away completely from the bomb and just wait to reach out late. I don't know if you've had a situation like that at all, but that's kind of what I've been seeing a lot when they go towards the site.
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me. We've seen stuff like that in previous CODs, but just Jess, as I was saying that she had some good skills, despite the fact that not having the best of statistical performances in the last one, still can get the job done, and does so right then and there. 2 kills in the round and a defuse. Good start, and potential beginning to a clapback from Draugr. But yeah, Wiggs, back to your point about the whole running away and taking a route on the after you plant the bomb. That's not something that's totally uncommon for Call of Duties, even when we didn't have things like the current mechanics for the bomb, we'll say, because it's hard to tell if they're intended or not. So we'll call them mechanics. But yeah, it's even in prior CODs, some players would take long routes away from it because they would try to stall for time. It's a lot of mind games in Call of Duty in general, so it's not too surprising that we still see people doing that.
Yeah, I think the other day I was actually casting this for, I don't remember the teams, but I had one team, like, the person on the team ran all the way back to the backside of P3, actually, and ended up just waiting it out, and then he was in a 1v3, and eventually just, like, waved his way in between 2 players, slid on bomb, got the dude off, and I'm like, damn, like, it was, like, impressive because of how far away he actually, like, ran and managed to actually get the kill. It was just super impressive, at least to me. But right now, we are going to be seeing this 2v1 here now left in the round, and that's actually just going to close on out right there. I don't even know which team really won that round. I think it's tied up now, right? No, it's a 2-0. Oh, damn, okay. But, okay, I want to ask you a question. Does that bomb flash like that for the players in game too, or is that just casting?
I don't think so. I saw that when me and TG were just casting one in the main league, but it's not like that. It is definitely an eyesore, though.
Okay, because it's so distracting for me, at least, and I don't know, it's just very weird. I noticed it yesterday. It wasn't doing that right away when I first started casting, but now, like, ever since yesterday, it's kind of done that. But did you or TG have any problems with scan and repair too within this map? I know casting.
Actually, no, I didn't.
I've had a lot of problems with that, so I don't know if it's just my game or what, but
yeah, maybe I just got blessed, you know. But I mean, hey, Draugr Ladies doing a really good job in the search and destroy. Have yet to lose a round, obviously, and Sarah in a little bit of a tough position with the bomb, and Sand Goddess in a position where can definitely help out now, but yeah, they're starting to group together. I really like this, and Sand Goddess is going to bait her own teammate in a good way, taking down Clarity. And now the Draugr Ladies, I'm a little bit concerned. They are starting to get into chows individually, but eventually they do eventually push their opponents into their other teammates' head glitches, and Jess going in there, doing what she does. She's 7-0 now, Wiggs. I'm really glad that I pointed out her having some good performances despite the bad statistics in the last round, because now I look super smart now that she's doing really, really well like this.
Hey, I mean, it does make you look super smart. She must just be an S&D star or something like that, because like you said, I mean, stats aren't everything, but she definitely did not play the greatest there in that map on this S&D, though. 7-0, really showing up right now.
Oh, it's
full
night
streaks
and
and everything too, so we'll kind of see what she does here in this round. Maybe see if she can keep this streak going. It's looking like he's going to be wide open. Oh, too bad they didn't have bomb with her over towards B, because they would have had the freest of free plants right there. And she's actually got a free flank right now as well. So we'll see if maybe she can find a kill here on this flank. I know we spent a lot of time with her, but she's going to come through. She's going to get that first blood, and she's now actually going to have a second player to deal with here in the back. In Insane Goddess, who actually just opts to chow on out, and she does end up finding that kill.
Does indeed, but now busy with the plant. A little bit of a difficult position, has nobody with her yet. Insane Goddess trying to find out where the people are, but cannot quite find it out just yet. Going for the defuse instead, but Holtzy gonna go and stop that from happening real quick. Busy doing a nice little gunfight, but Draugr Ladies are gonna be seeing that bomb to its explosion, I do believe, and so they're gonna be still laying down the smackdown into the 4th round. Into the 5th round, actually, my bad. Can't count.
Yeah, and it's looking like so far S&D looking good for Draugr. I mean, maybe we just need to see more S&Ds in the series for them, or maybe it was just a slow start. I don't know. I've been seeing it a lot, actually, from casting. There's one team that always starts off slow. Like, it's no just like back and forth battle just yet. I'm hoping that kind of changes as the season goes on, but they're looking good here in the search. I'm genuinely impressed by their S&D gameplay so far. It's looking like Clarity was able to find that first blood. Just Jess able to find one there as well, and Draugr just continuing it on into this round. They are looking solid here in the search and destroy so far.
Really are. Insane Goddess takes down one, but Busy instantly there for the reply. Breezes is going to be getting a solid clap back here as well. Flying around the corner, but can't shake Draugr Ladies. Still undefeated. Can't stop, won't stop winning rounds. And man, oh man, we're talking about teams that are... This really is a tale of two halves, Wigs. Seriously, that first map, it was looking really hand over fist in the hands of Philadelphia Warhawks. Draugr Ladies, they had some good moments, but man, we said that was decisive, but this is even more so decisive. Draugr, they literally haven't dropped around. They've came close, obviously, but it's never even really been... Man, this is... I'm honestly at a loss for words. Draugr, this is such a great performance compared to their last round.
Yeah, 100%, and unfortunately, I just got scanned.
I see it. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to load the game back on up. I do apologize here, ladies and gentlemen, but what I'll do is I'll reach out to one of the players here and see what the map count is at the end of the game. If I had to take a guess, I'm going to say 6-0. But for now, I think I'm just going to send it on over to a quick little break as we allow the game to load back on up and us to get back into the lobby. But I'll notify you guys when we do have the results, and we'll be back here shortly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with some more WWL Ladies League. We've got the Philadelphia Ladyhawks and the Draugr Ladies going at it now in some Tuscan hardpoint. Currently 1-1 as off-stream. Draugr Ladies did defeat Philadelphia Warhawks in some Bocage S&D 6-1, and I am joined by Waits.
As always, it's always fun doing these matches with you, pal. I always have to state that. But right now, we're going to start things off with Jess. You know how in map 1, she kind of didn't have the greatest performance there for her team, but that map 2 was a great and outstanding performance. I kind of want to see how she does here at the start of this map. Starts off 1-1, not too bad. Would you expect her to maybe play just better in this map? Maybe it was just a slow start there, map 1, or what are you kind of expecting from her, maybe?
Well, I think a lot of it probably had to do with just how oppressive the ARs could be, and in their case were on the last map. The rotations, I already went over this pretty much, the fact that their rotations led to their ARs being in good positions. Her being a sub is going to make it be a lot more difficult for you to have the impact that you want to, especially when your ARs aren't really able to get you into the good positions. This map having a lot less of that same issue. I think that we're going to be seeing Jess having a much better performance in theory.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well, especially on this map. It's a lot smaller. You can be, I guess, more ratty on the map. You can hit spots quicker, and I mean, it's a little bit harder at times for ARs to set up on this map unless it's specific kills. So I definitely think it'll benefit her playstyle a little bit more to be on this map. I'm guessing, if I had to take a guess, that they got rid of Gavudu because I think they were the home team. So I'm guessing because we only have the home team veto a map with only, if there being 4, we didn't put in Desert Siege. So yeah, I'm guessing they got rid of Gavudu because that probably could have gone a little bit worse, I'm guessing, because you can still kind of get away with things in Berlin. Yeah, I guess on both maps you can still kind of get away with some subplay, but I don't know. It kind of is just dependent on the team. But right now, not looking too bad. I mean, she is sitting at double negative, but that should probably change here moving forward.
And I mean, we're talking about the AR. Ooh, just as you said, taking down both Goddess and Sarah at the same time. But yeah, what I was about to say is Holtzy on the AR having actually a really good performance in comparison to the first map as well. Got a 4 streak currently, but is at almost double positive, so able much more so to get her subs into much better positions and do their role that they need when contesting ARs on the long angles. Just Jess coming around the back, might be able to get some good back raging, and does. So this last little bit of time probably going to be contested, but Jess standing her ground does a great job again, 3 in a row, and now back over positive, enabling her teammates to get a solid rotation while she collects these last 10 seconds.
And that's crazy. She was sitting at 2 and 4 right there before that hill when I switched it on over to you, and now she's sitting on 3 in a row, 7 and 5. So like you said, Holtzy got in position there with the AR, and it makes her job easier at that point. If you can get your AR position, it's going to be a lot more easy for your subs. It's really just all it is. Now Jess here pushing inside of Church. Oh, I thought she would maybe get that second kill there, but Insane Goddess hits her shots and ends up getting those kills. But now back on the side of Draugr here, we are going to be seeing Clarity starting to find a few kills of her own. Now getting on into that hill, getting 3 kills here. See if she can find a 4. She does that. Now looking for this 5th, and oh, preaims it there. Still gets the 5th and picks up a glide bomb. So a nice little break there from Draugr and Clarity. Having a solid game here so far.
Yeah, and honestly, looking at the composition from Draugr, it looks like they actually have 5 subs and Holtzy as the sole AR, from what I can tell is correct. Yeah, they got Busy on a sub, they got Jess on a sub, they got Clarity on a sub, and Holtzy is going to be the sole AR. That doesn't surprise me too much with how, just looking at all these hills and how close range they are. So yeah, it seems like it's definitely benefiting them a little bit in comparison to how they performed earlier up against the Ladyhawks and their AR performance.
Oh my god, Breezes just hit a 4-piece on screen. Oh my god. That was actually nasty. I know it says 3, but she did have a 2-piece prior to that 2-piece. So she just wiped that entire team and honestly made it look easy. But this streak now being forced to be called on in here from Clarity. She actually doesn't even get an enemy. She picks up only her teammates. So in the end, it's not really going to avail to much, as it's kind of a waste essentially, and it loses control of that hill for a second, but they do get back on into it, and they're starting to rack up some more hill time here. And I mean, rotation's better on this map. AR's getting in position, and we're really just seeing a much more efficient map here from the side of Draugr Ladies, just making sure they're doing everything right and getting the hill time there in their favor.
But we are going to be seeing Philadelphia Warhawks getting a solid rotation. They're definitely going to be able to get at least a little bit of time up in here. The push is going to be disjointed, but that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Busy on the flank, but it does appear that they know that trouble is afoot. And as I was about to say that was a great flank. She killed Breezes, but Holtzy apparently didn't trust her teammate enough to see that one through and kills her despite the winning of the gunfight. You hate to see stuff like that, but what you love to see is Clarity picking it up as well and frying 5 people in a row, getting another attempt at the glide bomb for their team and trying to even further compound their misery, taking down another one. That's 6 and sliding for the 7th, and there it is. Full team wipe for Draugr Ladies. Even further, not satisfied, does go down from Sarah, but after an amazing run is made.
That is amazing, and damn, what a streak there. What, 7 in a row there, and goes on that flank and just picked apart every single player there. I love to see that. Definitely one of those things where, like, I'm going to clip it out later. I know you guys have been seeing some of the videos we've been doing for the channel. That's definitely going in that, because that was one of the better clips I've actually seen so far in any of our matches. Like, aside from maybe, you know, watching UTK versus East Polar the other night where they completely fried, but that is probably one of the better streaks I've seen so far, and I'm excited. That just, like, hypes me up even more for this female league, seeing plays like that, because I'm going to be honest, I think the female players within the scene are super underrated. And I mean, example, Azura Anarchy, she was underrated, wins a LAN with Copy Jr., Crooked, and Wheat. Now look at her, she just won a 3v3 tournament with Kenny and I believe, oh, I forget who else it was, but I mean, the women in the scene are good, guys. Like, give them some credit here, because you just saw a streak that was nasty right there, and I hope to see more of it.
That was pretty awesome from Clarity. Showing that there's not just one, but 2 awesome players on Draugr. In all honesty, Holtzy doing a pretty good job as well. Draugr, they've got a couple of good cards up their sleeve. Clarity taking down another with the assistance of Jess, and that's a solid rotation. Only one that they have to worry about is Breezes, and Jess takes care of her with the greatest of ease, it seems like, without really much health being lost. So Draugr on the cusp of another great amount of hill time. Trying to be spoiled by Sinister, though, coming around the back. I think just waiting for Sarah to pinch this off with her. And yeah, Breeze is coming in on the opposite angle. I like that attempt, but unfortunately for them, it's still going to be repelled by an even better defense from Draugr. I just want to point out the fact that that was a good attempt at an attack, but even better from Draugr to hold it completely off and wipe it out.
Yeah, that was honestly a super, super good attempt at a heal. I think it was just a little bit mistimed, I guess, because it looked like it kind of was like a solo chow in a sense from each player, but they had the right idea there by going on the pinch like you said and trying to at least get on into that hard point, but it kind of just was mistimed a little bit, at least from my view of it. Definitely could have been just timed a little bit better, but great idea. Definitely could have worked on out, and it really just didn't there, but that happens sometimes. That's Call of Duty. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but right now Insane Goddess here going on 4 in a row. See if she can pick up any more kills here. She does exactly that. Now 5 to her name. She picks up that glide bomb here as well, and we'll see if she can get this 6 go. She's actually going to have to call it in, which I honestly don't disagree with. This will help them get info here and help them lock down some more time here on the point, and it does exactly that. They get all 4 behind it, and a great usage of that streak. Wow. A lot of people would say maybe she called it in early, but I think that was perfectly used and perfectly timed there on her part.
I say not. I say it's not too early to call that one in. Because, I mean, if you have trust in your teammates to cover you while you call it in, which it's not unfounded trust because she was able to survive it and get the kill off with it, it was a good call-in for the streak, in my opinion. But what you gotta be really careful about is the fact that your opponents are pretty much on the cusp of victory here. 8 points off of winning. The good thing for Warhawks is that they just got a whole lot of time off that last hill, and this hill can be also a huge money hill as well. You gotta be careful here if you're Draugr Ladies. Got to make sure you don't funnel yourself in trying to knock Sinister off the objective, because as you can see, Breezes, if you want to chow out Sinister and get the hill falling neutral, you have to go into the path of Breezes and going to make you a little bit weak. But overloading them on the objective, they're going to be, oh, Insane Goddess as I'm saying that, frying another 3. Holtzy trying to hold it down for just 4 seconds, but can't quite get it done. Philadelphia Warhawks, they might just be able to get back into this game, but man, oh man, is it going to be tough
It is going to be a bloodbath, too. You're going to have to do this on 2 hills of consistently getting 2 or 3 pieces out of at least one player on each team. They do a decent job there, actually a really good job of keeping it tightly contested, but now the hard part here is going to be the rotation. The streak is coming on in here as well, which might help them on out a little bit there. Oh, I wish he would have at least taken out one of them. But her teammate there in Sarah does find 2. She's going to find a 3rd there as well. Tries to find the 4th, cannot, which means we should... Oh, maybe not. We do see Warhawks get back on into it, so maybe they can keep this going. Keep it contested there, but as soon as I say that, we do see Draugr close things on out. But all in all, great map there from Draugr, and a super interesting one to say the least. I think we could see Philadelphia come on back. I think maybe, like, I don't want to put it on Breezes either, but try to take out one of the 2 rather than trying to take out both. I would just guarantee 1, because Sarah picked up 2, and she could have easily have found that 3rd there. She ended up finding 3 in the end, but I think finding a streak there, I don't know if they necessarily win behind that, but I think it helps them get them off the hill and gets a better map positioning, I guess, knowing where they're spawning, because you have one player they're dying late, which could cause some weird spawns. If you get her right there, they all spawn up in the same spot, and you know where to look then.
I think it could only have obviously could only have helped if they had landed the streak, but at the end of the day, that would have been a tough one to win from any standpoint, Wigs. They pretty much only needed 4 points going into that hill, and by the time the streak would have hit, it would have been 2 seconds. And so it's not something that I think would make or break the game necessarily, but it definitely could have helped. Now, going into this next one, we're going to be seeing yet another hard point, ladies and gentlemen, and you said that you think that they banned Gavudu. I think that would be... Sure. I think that would be smart from the standpoint of good old Draugr, because we've seen them... We just saw them, in fact, do good on one of the more close-range maps, but that isn't so dominated by the ARs. Gavudu is 100% in that ballpark where it's dominated by the ARs at times for the rotations, and so going into Bocage, which would be the last one because you said we're not playing Desert Siege.
Yeah, no, I took it out just because teams really haven't been scrimming it. Even pro teams haven't been scrimming it, so I'm like, I'm not going to throw it in if we're not 100% sure on the map. I know the CDL dropped it. I'm almost like 100% positive it's going to change here in the next month. It's just a matter of what the pros want, and I've heard a lot about Oasis as a possible replacement for it, which would make more sense. So there's a lot going on in Siege, personally, from my opinion, but it all really comes down to what the pros say, because I think at the end of the day, I think they get the final word of kind of what the maps will be. So I'm not 100% sure what's happening with it. That's why I took it out, so I just played it safe and kept it with the 4. I've also heard rumors of London Docks dropping next Friday, so I'm not too sure.
London Docks would be pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. That would definitely be in the rotation. I can see it 100%. But yeah, so with this last map, definitely this next map being more than likely with Gavudu being banned, it's gonna be Bocage. We've seen this. There are definitely some hills that you can be really great with on ARs, but it's more away from the Berlin side of the spectrum, and it's more close to where Tuscan is, in which it makes me think that we've got a lot of potential here for another Draugr win, just because, especially with Holtzy on the come up, able to get Just Jess and the other subs in Clarity into good positions to do their work. It's looking a lot better for Draugr. It seems like they're well and truly hitting their stride, and so going into this next map, I think that they're going to have another strong performance.
Yeah, and I think, especially with it being on Bocage, as we can see on screen, I think it's going to be really, really good for them, especially if they just play Tuscan like they did. Could you imagine how they're going to play on this map? You don't really need an AR necessarily to lock down lanes. It's just a matter of fighting for the hill, really. And I've actually, from watching scrims and recording them to watching league matches, I've seen actually 4 subs on a map. At times, I've seen a lot of ARs on P1 and sometimes P2, but I've actually seen a lot of teams reverting to 4 subs on P3 and P4 for sure. It kind of varies by team on P2, and then P1 and P5, we typically see 1 AR, but there's a lot of different kind of metas in quotations happening. I've seen it where teams will run 2 ARs, 2 subs, 1 automaton, 3 subs, no like 1 STG, 1 automaton. Like, there's a lot going on, so it's going to be very interesting to say the least going on into these maps. So I'm super excited, and Draugr showing up there in that hard point. I wasn't too sure what to think after that map 1, but that map 3 just showed that they can play hardpoint, and it's maybe just the longer range maps that are giving them problems, and I think I just got scan and repair again.
Well, that would suck
Yeah.
if he did, but if either way, Wiggs, it's. I think what you're saying is in part true. This map, especially with a lot of the hills being indoors, I can definitely see a lot of credence to playing more subs than ARs at the very least, and honestly, maybe in certain situations you could get away with having 4 subs up all at once. But I expect at the very least to be seeing people carrying out with the automaton. Insane Goddess, we saw her on Berlin using the automaton to some really good effect, and I think mostly the STG. I think she actually switched it in the map, unless I'm mistaken. But yeah, since we got the scan and repair, we're going to see what can be done about maybe getting the map stopped and reset, or we're just going to get you the information as soon as the map is finished. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to a quick break, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a little bit of an extended break. So, what had happened was that the game was actually played out, but because one or two of the players had seriously huge ping issues, which is going to result in the map being replayed, which means we get to see it, and I am joined by Wings.
Yeah, and at least we get to see it this time around. Watching the streams back and seeing the ping, it was kind of crazy to see ping that high. I've personally never have seen ping that high. And, I mean, like I was telling you in our little break there, like I've hit maybe 350, maybe even 400 just with a quick little spike, but she was on a consistent 500, 600 ping. So it was one of those situations where I typically don't do anything about pings because people typically will kind of complain about like 150 ping or something like that, like standard ping for online COD, but I mean 500 is kind of absurd. So we are going to replay this here completely, and right off the break we are going to be seeing Breezes here on 5 in a row, Insane Goddess on 4 in a row as well, and solid starts this time around for both these players.
Yeah, I mean, I might hit that high a ping if I played in Oceania servers, but definitely not for North America. Anyways, we've got Philadelphia Ladyhawks getting a solid rotation in, but you might notice that not a whole lot of attention is being given to the middle of the map. They're trying to change that right now, but at the same time, Draugr Ladies aren't really trying to push through hard for the middle of the map either, so it's working out just fine. Just Jess is going to be finding her way through, though, and taking down a considerable amount of opponents. That's why you got to give credence to the middle of the map, because you see Jess and Clarity just ran right on through it with their subs and absolutely chokeslammed every single person on the enemy team. So, that was a little bit of a short-sighted play from Ladyhawks, in my opinion.
And we've seen 3 of them already go on streaks early, so there might be a few more streaks, but yeah, Insane Goddess here on 2 in a row, 7 and 1. We're going to be seeing her get back on into the action after using that glide bomb, and Breezes also has a glide bomb. Did anyone else pick up? No, they did not. Okay, I thought maybe they had a third player there pick up another streak, but they actually did not. So off of the restart here, we are seeing a much better game, and I'm guessing ping's a lot better here as well, because I mean she's looking to be perfectly fine in this lobby so far. So overall, a pretty solid game here, and I think we're only seeing 1 AR on both sides if I'm not mistaken. So kind of, I guess what we were expecting. Usually we see an automaton, but an STG this time around, I think that's kind of became the default again within ARs. But Sinister now finding 2, Sarah finding 2 as well, and I mean anything you would pick apart from these two teams early on in this map?
Pick apart as in criticize?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much the major thing that I just criticized for Ladyhawks was that they didn't give a lot of control over the middle of the map and, take it, in my opinion, very seriously, the threat that comes from there, and that's literally one of the major threats. That's the one thing that I would criticize for them, is maybe have a little bit better zonal map control in that aspect. But for the Draugr Ladies, honestly, it's been okay for the most part. There have been a couple of minor errors, but it's hard to, pin them all into one major overarching theme. Just mostly, the best I could say is just win your gunfights.
Yeah, 100%. I would say that too, and maybe not. I mean, allow them to get kind of pushed. Like I've been seeing a lot of these hills where they kind of allow Draugr to kind of get closer to the hill rather than actually kind of pushing it out, I guess, and trying to push them further out. It's kind of been one of those things where they are kind of allowing them to contest it. I think they could be up by a lot more if they played a little bit more aggro and pushed things on out, if that makes any sense, because I think they could definitely be up probably by another 30, 40 points if they did something like that, but they're kind of allowing Draugr to play this game a little bit closer, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're really just allowing them to get out towards that point and giving them those chances of getting those wipes and getting kill time behind it. So I think that's the only thing I really would say here from the side of Ladyhawks, and maybe on the side of Draugr, I kind of was the, map 1 whole situation on maybe rotating a little bit better. I guess that's all I could really depict there, I guess.
You know what, Wiggs? I think I'm gonna agree with that a little bit. We talked about this in the past, where you're really incentivized in this game to go in and fully push out your opponents because 1, squad spawns, and 2, you don't want to get counterattacked. That's something that we haven't been seeing Draugr Ladies doing a whole lot. They let their opponents go onto the objective. If they run off, they just let them be, pretty much. And it allows Ladyhawks to get some pretty good counterattacks in the majority of the time. So that's the one thing that I would say now, after you just said that.
Yeah, and I just think if they can be a little more aggressive there, push them on out, because they are outslaying by a little bit here in this map. So use that to your advantage and get out there and push them on out. I know it's really Breeze's doing a big chunk of that slaying work, but again, still behind that wall. Body's being shot here. Okay, I did not know the scene for Ladies got this toxic too, but
I think she's actually lagging.
oh, is she like? I don't even know,
lot.
because I don't know. That's just tough to tell right there. But Holtzy here on 3 in a row now, 17 and 11. But yeah, be more aggressive, push things on out, and just know your boundaries. Like if you can push them out, you can get more time in your favor. You'd probably be up in this game too right now if you did that. And again, that's the only thing I would really depict. But maybe we can see them do that here in this next set of rotations. It's looking like Sinister and Sarah both now finding kills, combining for 3. Holtzy will shut down at least one of those 2 players. And then I think Sarah actually got the other one as well. So not too bad here from both teams on this first hill. They kind of split time, and it's really not too much in favor of one team here so far.
Yeah, I think that this really does, this contention in the middle of the map does, in the end of the day, go to benefit Draugr, because if you look, while all this contention is going down, they still have the lead, and they're making themselves in positions where they can go in for a contest or break on the next objective. What I do like for Philadelphia Warhawks, though, is that they have given a lot of manpower towards holding the middle of the map. They got Sinister up inside of the barn. They've got another player that was Breezes in the same position, holding the run up there as well. So they're at least trying to make some adjustments, which I do appreciate, which it's not having the greatest amount of success, despite the fact that they are now going to be getting a wipe. It's now starting to yield them some good benefits now. And so, yeah, this is good adjustments coming out from Ladyhawks now. We're starting to see the benefits of them doing this, and I'm impressed. This is good awareness coming out from Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I agree. Great awareness here from them. Sarah here now on 4 in a row as well. So we'll kind of see if Sarah can pick up that 5th. She does at least get the 5th and that glide bomb. She won't be able to get anything else other than that. And I actually want to ask you a question here. Score streak wise, I think honestly they need to like buff it up by 100 points. I see a lot of glide bombs being achieved in these maps. Do you think maybe they need to up it up? And I think what, maybe just keep it to the fighter pilot and like glide bomb, like get it up to like 600 points possibly to achieve it, like 6 kills rather than the 5.
You know, I could see an argument for that. I definitely could. I'm not gonna say really one way or the other, but I think it's definitely something that could be talked about and justified. But yeah, Sarah doing a pretty good job of justifying her team's position on this objective. 5 kills and the final one coming from the stun grenade. You don't see that every day, but Just Jess gonna be finally finishing her off and busting down the control, at least for a little bit here. Philadelphia Warhawks, though, one thing that we saw the Draugr Ladies have an issue with, which is getting the full wipes and preventing the squad spawns from coming out, as well as the counterattacks. That's something that Philadelphia Ladyhawks are not having the same issue with. You see, they're pushing in to their opponent's positions. They're getting wipe after wipe after wipe, and as like pretty much not necessarily like full team wipes back to back, but they're getting wave wipes to where pretty much no one that's still alive on the side of Draugr can go in and easily contest them from the next moment, and they can pretty much push up at least a little bit out of the objective and into some good map position as well.
Yeah, if they can get all that good map position, that would be super nice. And Draugr right now kind of, I guess, on a little bit of a struggle. They haven't gotten too much time here as of recent, but hopefully they can turn these things on around and get right back on into it. But one thing I love to note, and it's super small, but typically in other CODs, you know, you'll throw, especially World War II, for example, you would throw both your stun and your nade right away off of spawn and try to at least slow those players down getting to the point. But in this COD, with how much damage these stuns do, we typically see players now keeping that stun in their back pocket and actually using it to get that final kill, which we saw on that 4th kill there from, I believe it was Sarah within that P3 hill. So
yep,
that's something I've been seeing quite a lot of. And I know when I'm playing 8s and like just playing pubs, I will save that stun just in case I get someone one shot, because I know if I get that one shot, I can finish them off with the stun, because stuns do too much damage in my opinion, and get a lot of kills behind it, which
25 damage.
Yeah, they do like enough for a bullet basically. It's actually, I guess it's nice to finish off a kill, but at the same time it's kind of cheesy a little bit in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different is what we can say for sure, Wigs. Draugr Ladies trying to get in on this objective and have some good effect, but instantaneously, Philadelphia coming in with just many more players in having their way on the objective. They took a 1v1, then they took a 3v1. They're just making the pushes from Draugr Ladies more disjointed and separated from each other, while theirs are still concise. There's going to be another stun grenade kill, as you said. Breeze is going to be destroying Clarity with the stun grenade now as well, and that's yet another wave wipe. You see it. Ladyhawks are definitely having a good time when it comes to shutting down their attacks from their opponents and making it so that the counterattack is not going to happen pretty much. Breeze is going to be getting off this next objective and in a position where she can easily contest this next objective, just trying to find the best way to do it. Seeing that Holtzy is up on top there, decides just to go straight in for the objective and kill Clarity and make the hill fall neutral. But Draugr Ladies still with the holistic control. They're going to be able to get at least a little bit of time, and they might be able to get a sizable amount of time and get the rotation down as well.
Yeah, they might be able to get a good chunk of time here. I'm kind of expecting to see maybe a Breezes glide bob come in here soon, as this is a very open hill and you can get some good time behind it. But she found that 5th kill trying to chow this hill, but I mean, she's got to be a player we know. She's playing the flex role. We've seen it on the last 2 maps where she's got the AR out in hand, but I mean, look at her with the sub in her hand, leading the lobby in kills, 39 and 25. We got to gas her a little bit on stream because she's on one this map. She is having a great map, and I mean, she's done it with the AR as well with that in hand. So I mean, honestly, a great player overall. And I mean, I know Insane Goddess got a lot of the gas there in the first few maps, but we look at Breezes and she's really just been popping off. We've seen consistent 3 or 4 pieces on both maps, and she's going to help her team with almost a 40 bomb, I think, there. Get it to a map 5 after the replay, winning it 250 to 189 over Draugr Ladies.
Well, it does appear that the replay is going to be yielding a different result with, I guess, the better pings. Sarah doing a great job there as well. I want to just point that out. She went 38 and 31. Breeze not too far behind Breezes. In fact, they all did a pretty dang good job. Breezes obviously doing the best with the 40 bomb. And again, that's not EKA. Those are actual for real kills. But honestly, a lot of her teammates weren't that far behind with 36 and 38. And so it was just a very kill-heavy game for the Philadelphia Warhawks players. Going into this next one, which is going to be Search and Destroy. We don't quite know the map just yet, but if you do remember, ladies and gentlemen, it was pretty damn dominant in the hands of Draugr. It was literally 6-1. It was convincing and decisive, to say the least. And so I think that Draugr definitely have a little bit of an edge in the Search and Destroy department from what we've seen, and it's definitely going to be on the shoulders of Philadelphia Warhawks to perform. They're not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about woods, we're kind of going to a woody type map in Demyansk, or I don't even know how to say it.
Oh man, here we go.
So I can't believe the CDL has this as an S&D map. I didn't know how to judge the S&D map, so I just stuck with it, and yeah, I don't know how this is really going to go. I think I've had the chance to cast it once, and it was a quick 6-0 map, so
yep, me too.
Yeah. Any strats you saw in your series where maybe it would come into play, maybe for one of these 2 teams? I really didn't see too much outside of sitting on roofs. That's really about it.
That is an important part of the map, obviously, Wiggs, is that roof when you're on the defensive side. But in all honesty, I haven't really gotten too much experience with this map other than 6-0s myself. The most recent match I saw was at the end of a tournament I was casting, and that was featuring Team Final Strike. And you know how they are. They literally beat these guys 6-0, not even trying. But they were pretty much using the bridge very well and the roof, so what makes it seem like to me the best line of attack is to try and push through the right side from the attacker's spawn through the woods and accompany that with someone head glitching on the window and trying to get some good control over the path to the bridge at the very least. That's what I can get from the map so far. Obviously, this is a very hard map to attack on, and the meta is still developing, but from what I've seen so far, that is probably going to be the most efficient way of getting yourself some good benefits on the attack.
Oh, 100% agree. I don't really know how to judge this map or really talk about it. I've only seen it once,
tough.
But I think you broke that down pretty well. I'm going to be honest. So we'll kind of see if that comes into play here for these 2 rosters. And I just saw something, ladies better than men. I mean, hey, some of them are. They just need to get the credit they deserve. That's all I got to say. So right now, we are going to switch scenes on over to this gameplay if it allows me to. I don't know why it's not. All right, there we go. Now we're going to load on up into this map. We are sitting in map 5. Do be aware that there has been a lot of issues with scan and repair and search and destroy, so if anything happens, we'll just switch it on over to one of the player streams and kind of just go off that, I guess. But for now, we are going to be seeing Draugr there on the left-hand side of your screen. We have Philadelphia Ladyhawks there on the right, and we're going to start things on off with Philadelphia finding 3 kills immediately.
And we're going to be starting off with a bloodbath, pretty much, Wigs. That is something that I have also seen is, I'll break that down now because the game is now over, is the fact that they pretty much tried to out-sprint their opponents to the 50-50 positions using the knives, and they can, in theory, get to that wall, but you have to accompany it with watching the bridge. That bridge heady it's very annoying to deal with, especially when you've got ARs on there. Like, you're pretty much completely undefended on the attacking side. It's why people try to get there, is because there's this huge expanse that you have to run through in order to get to the alpha objective, but there's a lot more that has to be done than just getting there quick.
Yeah, I think you got to play a little. It's a little bit hard, but you got to play methodical here on this map. Kind of like what Holtzy just did, just gets a gun there in the end. Try to play a little bit of an off angle. That's a good angle. Not necessarily that was an off angle. It was just timing worked in the favor there of Ladyhawks. They challenged 2 people at once, and it really just worked out in their favor. And that's going to leave Busy here, and yet again another 1v3 and another quick round. Maybe just a map that we see Ladyhawks having more reps on, possibly, rather than, I believe, what was it? I don't even remember what map 2 was. It was Bocage, right?
Yeah, it was Bocage. Now, one thing I will say, Wiggs, is despite the fact that they pretty much came out with the same strategy, the execution was much better than Ladyhawks on that same strategy. They pretty much all went from that one side, and they were pretty certain of the avenues of attack of one of the players. Holtzy coming around the side there, pretty much most of the enemy team was ready for it, and they completely fried her off that spot. Insane Goddess now going more or less to the same spot, but a little bit further to the side. But this time around, Draugr Ladies, they're trying to go for a little bit of a bridge hit. Sinister getting that first kill, and then retreating further back into the woods by B, and just trying to get off the bridge, but gets fried by Breezes. The bridge, obviously, is also a very difficult part to attack, which is why I'm so impressed that Ladyhawks were able to win their first attack on their first try.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Breezes again, a player we talked about in that last map. Starting off hot in this map, continuing where she left off in that last one. We'll kind of see here if maybe she can pick up this 5th kill in this round and get that glide bomb to her name. It is looking like she might have spotted the player's name there between the trees, and I think that's actually going to be the case. Now we're going to spot this player on the cross, and she's going to find that 5th kill and at least pick up the glide bomb, which means now she's getting ever so close to her next score streak as well. We'll kind of see maybe she can get anything. Actually, I think Insane's in the perfect position to find this last kill, and she's in that perfect position, but chokes a few shots. I think she kind of just left that there for Breezes at the end, who I believe got that last kill and helps her team now get to a 3-0 start.
Another thing that I've been noticing, Wiggs, is the longer the game goes on without good success for the attackers, the more difficult it is for them to attack. You notice that despite being, like, you know, even though they did have a manpower advantage, Ladyhawks, Draugr still pretty much had no way of getting out of the position that they were in. Anywhere that they would have gone, it would have been instantly seen. They would have been shot at by the ARs of Philadelphia Warhawks, and as soon as they did try to make a move, Breezes fried the both of them pretty much. And so it's, in my opinion, going to be really difficult for Draugr, especially if they get stalled out on the attack like that, as I do believe we have a scan and repair, right?
Yeah, we unfortunately do have a scan and repair, so I'm going to try and find a stream for us to look at here, because that is unfortunate. We're just going to throw it, honestly, on Breezy, or Breezes stream here. I hope I'm saying that right, because I feel like I'm not. And then we will continue to have that on stream for you guys, but little unfortunate here. I'm just going to switch it over to RPOVs as this ad runs, but yeah, super unfortunate. Not much we can do about it either. I think Carbos had the same issue. I've been having the issue. I know a few other casters have, so it's kind of annoying, and it takes away from the series and kind of the hype, because I mean, that was a great start for Breezes there in that last map, and now we don't have that built-up hype because we've kind of been away from it for a few minutes here. But I'm going to turn their audio on low, and then we can kind of talk about this game. Am I going to need to share the screen with you here too, Kyle? Or
I've actually got the stream up right next to me, so
right,
we're
sweet.
chilling. But yeah, from what I saw in that round, because I didn't get an ad because I'm awesome, They seem to get stalled out, just like I said was the thing you don't want to have happen to you on this map. It's basically a death sentence to get stalled out on this map. And yeah, Breezes didn't really have too many avenues to get out of the position that she was in. Got a little bit, she was still in a good position on the head glitch on a roof, but no one in their right mind is going to chow her for that, and she has to make the move. So as soon as she did, pretty much everyone pounced on her.
Yeah, and I think she's just playing the same spot here as well as what I'm seeing, and not quite sure how she didn't see that player right away, but it does happen every now and then, but I mean, she's playing good. She's playing the proper positions an AR should play on this map. Again, if you guys don't know me, I hope this map gets taken out of rotation because I don't think it's that great of an S&D map, but for some players it's super nice. But Sarah there with the nasty 2, make that 3 now. Oh my god. Finding 3 there for her team and clutching on up to get them out to a 4-1 lead.
Somebody want to clip that for Sarah?
Yeah, you can see the excitement there on the face of Breezes. 100%. Like that's a hype moment right there, and you see it. So yeah, that's a round that could have easily not gone their way, but ooh, do my eyes deceive me? Are we gonna be seeing Sniper Breezes gracing us with their presence?
We haven't seen a sniper yet in this matchup, so I'm excited for this. We'll kind of see how this goes down. I'm loving the sniper gameplay. I had a Tar Heel on stream the other night, and that dude can hit some snipes. It was a lot of fun casting over him, and if you guys don't know me, when I cast, I'll always highlight those snipers because sniping's hard to a certain extent. Yeah, it can be easy too, but that takes a lot to do. You have to be perfect and hit everything like spot on. Like you have to center everything, and honestly, it's just a lot of fun watching sniper gameplay.
Doesn't quite go so well for Breezes that time around, but we've still got Insane Goddess herself in a 1v1 to put themselves on the cusp of victory tonight. Looking around, seeing what she can see, but the bomb is down, so she's going to have to make her way back over there in the next 30 seconds. Bomb is on the inside, and it appears that she's starting to get more comfortable, getting closer and closer, but knows that their enemy is at hand. But, oh, as soon as she turns the corner, I couldn't quite read that name. There it is. Busy was waiting in the corner for her and completely takes her down.
Yeah, perfectly played corner too. I mean, a little bit ratty, but it's something I know I definitely would end up doing in the end. But I mean, it worked out there in their favor, and hey, they get their second round win on the board, and they're hoping to chip away here at this lead. We'll kind of see how, I guess, it continues as we move forward. But Sniper's still in her hands. Do we see her hit or snipe this time around? That's going to be the question. Looking on out towards the top of the shack, she's not going to spot anything here out towards the right side, so we'll see maybe the streak actually come on in. We'll see maybe if she can pick up anything behind that. I don't know if she's going to, because I think they might be hitting out towards that B side. I'm not too sure, though.
It does appear that that's going to be the case. I think from what I can tell on Breezes' screen, her teammate over there just died over by the B objective, but she doesn't want to make the move just yet because that's where pretty much the majority of the rest of her team is over there, and she can't leave this completely unattended. So instead, she's going to rotate around the back and see if she can get some back frags on them with a sniper rifle. And I think this is a decent play that you can make. You can definitely justify doing it. And is going to try and watch the run-up to B. Again, you don't want to get stuck in this position if you're the attackers where Breezes is right now. So assuming that her enemies have run out of it is not too far-fetched. Boltsy is going to be the last one alive and getting a little bit shot up. That is going to be a total, not total victory, though. One off of that, but still looking very good for Philadelphia Warhawks.
Yeah, 100% looking good. I was going to say, if they kept to that 3B2, I can maybe see her calling in that glide bomb, too, to maybe help them get some control of that site. But in the end, they do find a pick there and end up keeping that streak there in the back pocket. So we'll most likely, if I had to take a guess, see that come out here at the start of this round. Maybe try to take a player off of the top house or off of B. So we'll kind of see how she plays there. She might even try to get an initial pick here at the sniper first, which she's going to attempt to do. And nothing being spotted. These players on their opponent side will, I should be saying Draugr. If the players on Draugr are playing it smart, they would probably stay grouped up around that house and make sure they're somewhere where they can actually get inside and avoid this glide bomb that she's actually now just calling on in.
Oh, it's intel.
She's now got info there. Now 2 inside. She's got 1 out towards the front. She takes 1 down. I believe did she take down a teammate as well? I couldn't really tell.
She killed Goddess. She killed Goddess with it too. It's a little bit of a difficult one. Coming around the corner with only a pistol. Unlucky teammate trying to finish that one off, and does. That is going to be a solid win for Philadelphia Warhawks. It was hard fought, but it is still going to be a sweet victory nonetheless for them tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, that's super nice. You get to see them come back after a map where they were sitting at 600 ping and regain. They really did truly regain right there. And I'm stuttering over my words, goddamn. But it's all good. Overall, not too bad there from both teams. For a first match of a female-only like league that I've seen, it was actually a lot better than I was expecting. I thought one team would come in and just 3-0, but we get a map 5 in our first series, and I've only gotten out of 3-0s 3 times, and this is one of them. So I'm super excited. A lot of good talent from what we saw. We see Breezes, we see Insane Goddess, and those are probably the two of the players I'd highlight the most from the side of Philadelphia, and they just honestly looked really good throughout that entire series.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of them were making some great plays and had some great individually skillful moments and some great team play as well. I'm pretty sure we got to hear a little bit of their comms when we were, well, either way, I got to hear a little bit of their comms when I was listening to their stream, and they sounded very, very solid, and in fact, better than a lot of most people's, seriously, better than a lot of people's in a lot of amateur scenes. It was very good to hear them communicating effectively and not getting super duper mad. Obviously, the situation where they had the lagging and the ping issue was a little bit infuriating, but even then, they sounded very clear, crisp with the comms, which is honestly one of the most important things in the game after obviously being individually skilled. But yeah, it was a pleasure tonight. Philadelphia Warhawks and Draugr, they both came out and they left it all out on the field, but Philadelphia Warhawks going to come out with a slight edge, and man, oh man, am I looking forward to seeing some more of their matches.
Yeah, me too, and I'm excited to see more of these female teams starting to play, because I know we have some decently known names and some players like Smiley that I'm kind of excited to see how she plays, because I haven't watched too much of her, I guess, but there's definitely some other players I'm super excited about seeing. But I honestly think that's going to do it for us right now. Appreciate Kyle for stopping on by as always. Make sure to go follow him on Twitter, Kamaka_18, and on Twitch, Kamaka_. Make sure to go show him some love. He's a goat, and he volunteers his time just to cast. So I appreciate